The words hit me like a fist to the chest, stealing the air from my lungs. I'm only with you until someone better comes along, Sarah said, her voice soft but sharp, like a blade wrapped in silk. She stood in our kitchen, her back to me, stirring a pot of pasta as if she hadn't just shattered the foundation of our marriage. I froze, my hand gripping the edge of the counter, the cold granite biting into my palm. The room smelled of garlic and regret. And outside, the October dusk bled orange across the sky. I wanted to scream, to demand she take it back, but all I managed was a choked, "Fair enough." The lie tasted bitter, like the coffee grounds I'd spilled that morning. Her words hung there, heavy, like damp laundry on a line. I replayed them, searching for a misstep, a joke, anything to soften the blow. Sarah didn't turn around. She just kept stirring, the wooden spoon scraping the pot in a slow, deliberate rhythm. I stared at the back of her neck, where a single curl of auburn hair escaped her messy bun, and wondered when she'd stopped being mine. Had it been months? Years? The thought clawed at my chest, but I couldn't ask. Not yet. We'd been married 7 years, built a life in this creaky Victorian house with its warped floorboards and drafty windows. I'd always loved the way she laughed at my bad puns, the way her hazel eyes crinkled at the corners when she was genuinely happy. But lately, those moments had grown rare, like fireflies in late autumn. I'd noticed her phone buzzing more often, her late nights at the office, the way she'd linger in the bathroom, texting someone she never named. I told myself it was work, stress, maybe a friend in crisis. Denial is a warm blanket, and I'd wrapped myself in it. "Jake, can you set the table?" she asked, her tone casual, as if she hadn't just confessed to a conditional love. I nodded, moving mechanically, pulling plates from the cabinet. The clink of ceramic felt louder than it should, echoing in the hollow space between us. I wanted to ask who someone better was, but the question lodged in my throat, sharp and unyielding. Instead I said, "Sure. 2 plates." She glanced over her shoulder, her lips twitching into a half-smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Yeah, just 2. The ambiguity of it stung. Was there someone else already? I set the table, each fork and knife placed with precision, as if order could anchor me to a world that wasn't crumbling. Dinner was silent, save for the scrape of forks and the occasional clink of wine glasses. The pasta tasted like ash, but I chewed and swallowed, my eyes fixed on the grain of the oak table. Sarah ate slowly, her gaze distant, like she was already somewhere else. I remembered the early days, picnics by the river, her head on my shoulder, promises whispered under starlight. Had those been lies too? Or had something in her changed, like a river carving a new path? After dinner, she retreated to the living room, curling up with her phone. I washed the dishes, the hot water scalding my hands, a punishment I welcomed. The suds swirled in patterns, and I saw her face in them, her smile, her betrayal. I'd always thought love was a choice, a commitment forged in quiet moments. But Sarah's words suggested it was a transaction, a lease with an escape clause. The thought made my stomach churn. Later in bed, I lay awake, her steady breathing beside me a cruel reminder of her presence. The moonlight slanted through the blinds, casting stripes across her face. She looked peaceful, untouched by the chaos she'd unleashed. My phone sat on the nightstand, and on impulse I grabbed it. Her phone was password protected now, another red flag I'd ignored, but her laptop wasn't. I slipped out of bed, my bare feet cold against the hardwood, and crept to the study. Her laptop glowed in the dark, a beacon of secrets. I hesitated, my fingers hovering over the keys. This wasn't me snooping, distrusting. But her words had cracked something open, and I needed answers. Her email was open, and there it was, a thread with a name I didn't recognize. Evan. The messages were brief but intimate, laced with a familiarity that made my skin crawl. "Can't wait to see you again," he wrote. "You make everything better." Her replies were coy, flirtatious, each one a dagger. I scrolled, my heart pounding, until I found a photo. Sarah, laughing, her arm around a man with dark hair and a smug smile. The timestamp was last week, when she'd said she was at a conference. I closed the laptop, my hands trembling. The room spun, and I gripped the desk to steady myself. Betrayal wasn't a single moment. It was 1,000 tiny cuts, each one deeper than the last. I thought of her smile at dinner, The way she'd brushed off her confession like it was nothing. Had she been testing me? Or was she already gone? Her heart packed and ready to leave? Back in bed, I stared at the ceiling, the shadows shifting like ghosts. I could confront her, demand the truth, but what would that solve? She'd already told me where I stood. Temporary, replaceable. The realization burned, but it also clarified something. Love wasn't enough if it wasn't mutual. I thought of leaving, of packing a bag and walking out, but the idea felt hollow. This house, this life, it was ours, even if she'd stopped believing in it. The next morning, Sarah was up early, humming as she made coffee. The normalcy of it was infuriating. I watched her, searching for guilt, but her face was a mask of calm. "You okay?" she asked, catching my stare. Her voice was light, but there was an edge to it, like she knew I'd seen too much. "Yeah." I lied, my voice steady despite the storm inside. "Just thinking." She nodded, sipping her coffee, her eyes flicking to her phone. The buzz of a new message broke the silence, and she smiled, a private, secretive smile that wasn't for me. I stood, my chair scraping the floor, and walked to the window. The world outside was gray, the leaves falling in slow spirals. I thought of Evan, of her laughter in that photo, and something in me hardened. "I know about him," I said, my voice low, barely audible. Sarah froze, her mug halfway to her lips. The air thickened, charged with unspoken truths. She didn't deny it, didn't protest. She just looked at me, her eyes wide, and in that moment I saw it. Not guilt, not shame, but relief. As if she'd been waiting for this, for the truth to break free. "Jake," she started, but I held up a hand. "Don't," I said. "You meant what you said last night. I'm not enough. Not anymore." The words hurt, but they were true, and truth had a strange power. I walked past her, grabbing my coat. "I'll be back for my things." As I stepped outside, the cold air stung my face, but it felt clean, like a baptism. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I couldn't stay. Behind me, the door clicked shut, and with it, the life I'd thought was mine. Sarah's betrayal wasn't just a wound. It was a mirror, showing me who I'd been and who I could become. I walked into the gray morning, the weight of her words lifting, replaced by something new, freedom.